Hello everyone. So now we're going to tackle about the TDDS or the Transdermal Drug Delivery System. So before we start, I will say some facts lang about the TDDS. So did you know? Did you know? In 1981, the first transdermal drug delivery system or the patches that we have is na-approve lang siya dahil para ma-prevent ang nausea at saka ang vomiting, which is associated siya sa motion sickness. So, imbes na uminom ka pa ng, anong tawag doon? Uminom ka pa ng Bonamine, which is by mouth siya na tinitake, is pwede mo na lang siya na ilagay sa skin mo. So, without further ado, let's start. So, first we have here, who's that girl? Ooh. So, may I present to you our members. First, we have Althea Aguinaldo, Yashulfi Cagayan, Sandara Natividad, and yours truly, Grace Von B. Truya. Now, we have here our contents. First, the transdermal drug delivery, or its definition, like that. Next is the factors affecting percutaneous absorption, design features of TDDS, advantages, and also siyempre meron yang disadvantages. And then examples, the iontophoresis or the IP, the phonophoresis, and medical tapes. And lastly, we have the new approaches. So first, here we have the transdermal drug delivery system. So ano nga ba ang TDDS? So sabi dito, it is defined as self-contained discrete dosage form which went to the intact skin, delivered to the drugs through the skin at the controlled rate to the systemic circulation. So, diyan, pag sinabi natin TDDS, is kilala din siya bilang patches. So, paano nga ba fino-formulate ang patches? So, now, i-illustrate ko dito sa inyo kung paano ginagawa or fino-formulate ang patches. So, dito, oh my God. Kita ba? Wala kasi yung aming whiteboard. So, first, syempre, merong sa pinakababa yung liner. Lang. Liner. Yan siya, guys. So, yung liner is ito yung, kung meron kayong mga band-aids, yun yung tinatanggal natin. Which is yung liner din pala yung nag-protect ng sa storage. Kapag, nasa storage pa yung TDDS. Which is tinatanggal din natin siya kapag i-use na natin. So, yun ang liner. So, sabi ko nga, pag sa band-aid, di ba before mo ilalagay yung band-aid sa, sa skin mo, may tinatanggal tayo na paper. Yun yung tinatawag natin na liner. Next, we have the adhesive. Adhesive. So, yung adhesive naman, guys, is siya yung, paano ba? Nag-aalaw sa patch na ma-adhere securely papunta sa infected area or papunta sa skin natin. So, syempre siya yung direct contact after the liner. So, kaya siya din yung parang nagsisecure na makakaloob yung drug sa skin natin or magkakaroon siya ng direct contact sa skin natin. So, next, after the adhesive, we have the membrane. Oh, is it membrane? Yes. And we have the membrane. And so, yan siya. Membrane. So, ang membrane naman is para siyang selective barrier. So, para siyang selective barrier, which is siya din yung nagko-control ng pag-release ng drug. Which is, kunwari, di ba, ang TDDS kasi is known as controlled release drug din siya. So, para hindi agad-agad na karoon ng effect yung drug sa katawan natin is, hindi naman sa agad-agad. Like, hindi siya as iniisahan lang. Like, controlled yung pagpunta. Steady and controlled. Something kanan siya. So, next we have the adhesive. Siya yung nag-a-allow sa patch na ma-adhere sa skin. Next is yung membrane. Siya yung nagko-control ng drug. Liner, siya yung nagproprotect during storage, tas tinatanggal din siya kapag gagamitin. Next, we have the drug. Siyempre. We have the drug. Yung drug naman, yun na yung nagko-contain ng drug medication, which is, siya na yung gamot mismo. Ganun. Lastly, we have the backing. Ayan, backing. So, ang backing naman, siya na yung nagproprotect sa buong patch. Ayan. Ayan siya. So, ito yung paano i-formulate ang patches. Ayan. Parang meron siyang 5 layers. Ganun. We have the liner, the adhesive, the membrane, drug, and backing. Ayan. So, ngayon, alam na natin kung paano i-formulate ang patches natin. So, let's go back to TDDS. So, here, yan, sa TDDS, pag sinabi natin TDDS or Transdermal Drug Delivery System is, din siya, ang tawag nito, nilalagay sa skin, diba? And then, related din siya sa layers ng skin natin. So, in our anatomy class, napag-aralan na din natin ang layers of skin, di ba? We have 3 layers, di ba? So, going to draw. Yan. So, yan, may 3 layer na siya. So, here, di ba, ang epidermis kasi may layers din siya. So, yung pinaka-outer layer, we call it the stratum corneum. Yan, stratum corneum. Or the epidermis yung dito na part. Next, we have the dermis. Yan. And lastly, we have the hypodermis, where we call it the subcutaneous tissues. Yan. So, yung layers ng skin natin. So, bakit nga ba natin pinag-uusapan yung skin? Kasi our topic is the TDDS or transdermal. From the word itself, dermal. So, skin yung route ng administration natin. So, hindi siya oral or hindi siya by mouth, hindi siya suppositories, kundi skin. Yan. So, paano nga ba? So, kung yun, so skin nga 1B ka na. Paano naman pupunta yung drug pupunta siya sa skin, tapos pupunta sa blood vessels, saka sa infected area. So, mabilis lang yan. So, first, syempre, kailangan na pumunta siya sa stratum corneum natin, which is na-penetrate naman nung patches yung ating stratum corneum. Next, after niya pumunta doon, pupunta naman na siya sa dermis natin. After niya, then magmamigrate siya, papunta sa capillary vessels, at hanggang makapunta na siya sa infected area. So, ganun siya. And then kapag i-compare din natin siya sa mga ibang mga, ibang mga route of administration, katulad ng oral, na, iniinom, or by mouth, is mas maganda or mas convenient ang TDDS kasi syempre kapag iinom ka ng gamot, especially pag oral, nagkakaroon tayo ng gastrointestinal effect, di ba? Which is dahil merong mga acids sa ating stomach. So, kapag sa TDDS, silalagay mo lang siya sa skin. So, mas parang convenient, tas sobrang dali lang niya gawin. So, ngayon naman, let's move na. There are various factors na nakakapag-affect din sa ating TDDS, which is, we have here the physico-chemical factors at biological factors. So, So, dito, pag sinabi natin physico-chemical factors, it contains the physical and chemical factors. So, first, we have the partition coefficient, solubility, ionization, or the dissociation constant, the molecular size and weight, at syempre, yung stability niya, kung stable ba siya, or half-life lang yung meron sa TDDS na yan. And here, we have also the biological factors. Biological factors are the pH of the environment, area of application, age, sex, or the race, condition of the skins, kung integrity and thickness of the stratum corneum, and then pathological conditions of skin, hydration, metabolism, and temperature. So, yan yung mga factors na nakakapag-affect ng ating percutaneous absorption. So, dito naman, para magkaroon tayo ng successful development ng TDDS, meron din mga desirable na properties of drug. Yung TDDS, for example, physico-chemical factors or physical-chemical properties, I should say. So, dito, dapat non-ionic yung ating TDDS or the drug, which is, syempre, pag non-ionic, dapat hindi siya nag-dissociate or hindi siya nawawarak, something like that. Intact siya kahit na ma-dissolve siya sa water. And next naman, dapat low yung molecular weight niya. And dapat less than 1,000 Dalton yung kanyang molecular weight. So, pag sinabi naman natin Dalton, ito yung weight or the unit siya ng like molecular weight or molecular mass ng equal siya sa 1/2 or 1/12 ng 1/12 milligrams or the mass ng carbon atom. Next naman is adequate solubility. So, hindi lang dapat sa water, kundi pati din dapat sa oil. And lastly, it must be potent. Dan dapat yung desirable dose niya or the ideal dose niya is less than 10 mg per day. So, let's move forward. Next.
So, the next is the percutaneous absorption enhancers. So, ano nga ba si percutaneous absorption enhancers? So, these are substances that increase or enhance the absorption of drug from the skin into systemic circulation. So, from the word itself, no, percutaneous absorption enhancers. So, pinapabilis niya ang pag-absorb ng drug sa ating percutaneous membrane, which is our skin. So, pinapabilis niya ang pag-enter ng drug sa ating skin from skin papunta sa ating systemic circulation, which is beneath our epidermis, which is blood vessels. So, we have two main types of percutaneous absorption enhancers. So, we have the chemical enhancers and the physical enhancers. So, when we talk about chemical enhancers, this reversibly damaging or altering the physicochemical nature of the stratum corneum. It reduces the fusional resistance and more than 200 chemical compounds ang chemical enhancers. So basically, si chemical enhancer is nire-reversibly damage niya. So, dinadamage niya yung first skin cell layer ng katawan natin. So, parang, refresh lang sa ating anatomy. Si first skin cell natin, which is the stratum corneum, is a dead skin cell na kung saan nagpro-protect sa atin. So, by reversibly damaging it, mas mapapabilis yung pag-enter ng drug sa ating percutaneous membrane or sa ating skin by using these chemical enhancers. Ano nga ba yung mga chemical enhancers na to? So, we have an examples, which is the acetone, the azone, ethanol, the oleic acid, and the polyethylene glycol. So, yun ang mga chemical enhancers natin. So, the next is we have the physical enhancers. So, physical enhancers, basically, these are the devices naman. Kanina, chemical enhancers, we use chemicals para mapabilis ang pag-absorb ng drug sa ating system. Now, we have physical enhancers. These are the devices that we use para yun nga, mapabilis ang pag-enter ng drug sa ating system. So, we have iontophoresis and desonophoresis. First, we have the iontophoresis. Iontophoresis is the delivery of charged chemical compound across a skin membrane by using an electric field. So, basically, sa iontophoresis is that we use electric current. So, microelectric current lang siya para mabilis yung penetration ng drug. So, parang micro size ang iontophoresis. And then, yun, mabilis ang penetration ng drug sa katawan by using this kind of device. And then we have sonophoresis, which it uses high-frequency ultrasound, is used to enhance the transdermal drug delivery system. Basically, si sonophoresis, it uses ultrasound. So, sound ang ginagamit niya. The ultrasound. And then, we have iontophoresis. It uses the electric current. So, yun lang pinagkaiba nila. Basically, sila yung nagpapabilis ng absorption ng drug sa ating percutaneous membrane or sa ating skin. So, those are the percutaneous absorption enhancers. So, the next one is we have the design features of transdermal drug delivery system. So, since nandito naman na sa aming slide yung mga meaning and then yung mga images, i-expound ko na lang siya using this device since wala akong whiteboard. And then, i-share ko na lang siya sa inyo. We have here the monothelic system and then the membrane-controlled system. So, itong system na to is tumutukoy siya sa design ng patch. Since patch is yung mostly ginagamit sa TDDS. So, itong mga to is yung mga layer nung patch na to. So, sa monothelic system, we have the backing layer, we have the drug, the adhesive layer, and the liner. So, si liner, siya yung papel. Siya yung inaalis para lagay yung adhesive layer. So, sa monothelic system is, ito siya, wait lang. Monothelic system, ang main purpose niya is, yung, kunwari, ito yung skin. And then, yung main purpose niya is yung patch nandito. Tapos, yung distribution ng drug is pa-spread siya. Hindi siya sa core, hindi siya pa ganyan, kundi pa-spread siya throughout our layers of the skin. Doon si monothelic system. And kung mapapansin nyo, wala siyang membrane tulad ni membrane-controlled system. So, meron lang siyang backing layer, drug, adhesive layer, and liner. So, yun ang pagkakaiba nila. And then we have the membrane-controlled system. Sa membrane-controlled system, we have the backing layer, the drug, adhesive layer, membrane, kasi nga, membrane-controlled system, and then the liner. So, bakit walang membrane si monothelic system? So, yun ang kagandahan ni membrane-controlled system. Si membrane-controlled system, kunwari, this is the skin, and then this is the patch. So, sa membrane-controlled system, yung patch na to, ang distribution ng drug is within its site na pinaglagyan ng patch. Hindi siya spread out. And then, sustained din ang release niya. Parang silang sustained, pero dito sa monothelic system is hindi siya ganon ka controlled tulad ni membrane control system. And basically, si monothelic system is much si monothelic system is much cheaper to manufacture. And then si membrane-controlled system, na kung saan maraming proseso ang paggawa ng membrane-controlled system. Kasi they uses membrane para makontrol ang release ng, or ma-sustain ang release ng drug. So this is much pricey. Pricey yung membrane-controlled system. So basically, yun lang ang pinagkaiba ng design features ng transdermal drug delivery system.
These are the advantages and disadvantages of transdermal drug delivery system. Advantages: avoid GI drug absorption difficulties, substitute for oral administration of medication, avoid first pass effect, non-invasive avoiding the inconvenience and parental therapy, improve compliance over other medication, short half-life drug is extended. Drug therapy may be terminated rapidly. Disadvantages: drugs that require high blood levels cannot be administered, limited only to potent molecules, thus requiring a daily dose of 10 mg or less. Transdermal administration is not a means to achieve rapid bolus-type drug input. Rather, it is usually designated to offer slow, sustained drug delivery. Adequate solubility of the drug in both lipophilic and aqueous environments to reach dermal microcirculation and gain access to systematic circulation. The molecular size of the drug should be reasonable that it should be absorbed percutaneously. Tolerance-inducing compounds are not an intelligent choice for this mode of administration unless an appropriate washout period is programmed in between the dosing regimen. Difficulty of permeation of the drug through human skin barrier function of the skin. Skin irritation of dermatitis due to excipients and enhancers of drug delivery system used for increasing percutaneous absorption is another major limitation. Adhesive may not adhere well to all types of skin, uncomfortable to wear, and may not be economical. These are the examples of transdermal drug delivery system. Transdermal scopolamine prevent travel-related motion sickness. Transdermal nitroglycerin for prophylactic treatment of angina. Transdermal clonidine, treatment of hypertension. Transdermal nicotine, an adjunct in smoking cessation programs. Transdermal extradite, menopause and primary ovarian failure.
So, once again, the topic naman na is the iontophoresis or the IP. So, sabi dito, the term iontophoresis is simply defined as ion transfer. So, meron tayong two Greek word which is the ionto saka the phoresis. Pag ionto is the ion. And then, pag phoresis is transfer or to bear. So, yun. So, which is the transfer or the ion transfer. Something ganun siya. So, ito din, ang iontophoresis naman siya kagaya ng sabi kanina ni Miss Jashriel na introduction siya ng ion papunta sa ating body gamit ang electric current or the electric field. So, meron tayong machine na ginagamit like that now. So, next. So, here kung makikita nyo sa slides, meron tayong parang pictures na nakalagay. Which is, we have here the iontophoresis. So, dito sa iontophoresis device is, ito yung machine na, yung electric current na we have, diba? So, here, meron siyang dalawang electrode, the drug electrode na meron nakalagay dyan, tapos counter electrode. So, dito, meron din siyang negative saka positive na electrode. And, sabi nga din nila, na ang positive or the active electrode is siya yung nag-release or ang active electrode is siya yung nag-carry ng mga ions papunta sa tissue. So, sa tingin nyo, ano kaya dyan yung active? So, from the picture, so, mahahalata naman na natin na yung drug electrode yung positive natin. Pag sinabi nating positive electrode, ang tawag doon ay anode. Ang anode is ang whole name niya is the anodic electrode. So, paano naman yung negative? So, yung negative naman is cathode siya, or tinatawag siyang cathodic electrode. So, anode, cathode. Cathodic electrode, anodic electrode. So, yun yung dalawang electrode na meron sa IP. So, ngayon naman, bakit hindi pwede na sa negative mag-start? Something ganon. Sa negative mag-start or sa negative ang entrance ng mga ion natin. Sa ganun siya. So, sabi dito, di ba, ang active electrode kasi nag-carry siya ng ion papunta sa tissues. And then, kung naaalala nyo din yung Coulomb's law, sabi doon, like charges repel, unlike charges attract. So, dito pa lang, dahil syempre, pag yung positive ion, pumunta siya sa positive ion, syempre mag-repel siya. Pero kapag sa negative siya pupunta, mag-a-attract siya. So, yung ion na dapat pupunta sa skin natin, papunta sa bloodstream, hindi na siya makakapunta doon. Hindi na siya dadaloy. Kasi diba, dito makikita niyo sa illustration or sa picture na umikot siya, yung movement niya. From the positive, pupunta siya sa skin, blood vessel, tapos iikot siya. Umiikot lang siya, something ganun. Pero hindi ganun kalawak yung scope or kayang kunin ng ating IP. So yan. So, yun yung isa sa, explanation kung bakit hindi siya pwede mag-start sa, sa negative electrode. Kasi mag-stay na siya doon Kasi na-attract ng mga negative ions ang mga positive ions. So, kaya dyan, dahil positive plus positive, syempre magre-repel sila. Kaya, kapag active electrode, doon ang entrance. Para yung ion or the drug is ma-produce, they call this, mag-spread siya through the skin hanggang sa mapuntahan niya yung mga infected area. So, before we get ma-complicated, ganun, ang TDDS natin is to prevent yung pain lang, ganun. Hindi siya pwede sa mga wounds, cuts, ganun siya na. So, yan. Next. Do you understand the enterprises device? So here we have also the factors na nakakapag-affect ng ating IP. So hindi lang sa TDDS meron mga factors na nakakapag-affect, kundi pati na rin sa IP. So one is the pH donor solution, and then syempre sa polarity. So dito in general nagre-refer ito sa physical properties, sa what do you call this, chemical, and also the compounds such as the what do you call this, the blood pressure, like that po. So, and also we have the ionic strength, the current density and profile, and also the electrode material. So, we have here the advantages and the disadvantages. First, let's go to advantages. The IP enhanced drug penetration of selected drugs over passive transport. It also allows strict control of transdermal penetration rates, permits and termination of drug delivery through termination of current or the ultrasound. So, yun nga, sabi kanina, kapag IP, ginagamitan to ng machine, which is the electric current or ultrasound. Sabi din yun kanina ni Ms. Joshrill. So, skin remains intact, therefore, low risk of introducing infection. Not immunologically sensitizing. In many cases, greater patient satisfaction, homes unit available for IP. So, yeah, dahil mabilis na rin siyang gamitin kasi parang ilalagay mo lang dyan, tas magagana na lang siya. So, we have also, hindi lang advantages yung meron, we also have its disadvantages. So, IP can be time-consuming to administer. Yeah, kasi nga, ginagamitan siya ng electrical field or ultrasound. So, medyo time-consuming talaga kapag gumagamit ka pa ng machine. Drug must be in aqueous solution and must be in ionized. minor tingling, irritation, and burning can occur. These effects can often be minimized or eradicated with proper technique or current adjustment. So the skin itself imposes a barrier to the delivery of some medication. Additional, ions act as charge carriers or active competitors for the drug applied. So, yun nga, meron din talaga na yung skin natin or the stratum corneum is hindi siya mabilis na ma-penetrate, something like that. So, later on, mahanapan nyo yung new drug sa new drug na, like, doon talaga kayang-kaya niyang ma-penetrate yung ating stratum corneum. So, yun. Dahil nasabi na natin yung kanyang disadvantages at advantages, meron din mga drug na administered with the iontophoresis, which is nag-i-include or nako-consider yung mga drugs such as dexamethasone or the other local anesthetics like lidocaine and acetic acid. So, yung lidocaine is ginagamit siya para sa soft tissue pain at inflammation. So, also, meron din pang mga drugs na kagaya ng lidocaine, which is ang lidocaine is siya yung or ginagamit siya para sa mga soft tissue pain at saka inflammation. So, kung alam nyo, isang example is the Salonpas. So, yun yung isang example nun, which is ilalagay lang natin siya at then nakakapag-relief na siya ng pain. Pero hindi niya nagagamot ng mga sugat, nakakapag-relief lang siya ng pain. So that is DDDS. Next.
So the next one is we have phonophoresis. Phonophoresis, galing siya sa word na phono, which means sound, and phoresis, which means transmission. So phonophoresis, may other name siya na kung saan sonophoresis or ultrasound sonophoresis, is a transdermal drug delivery system that uses ultrasound to enhance the delivery of topically applied drugs. So kanina, we talked about the percutaneous absorption enhancers. So kabilang si phonophoresis as a physical enhancers, na kung saan it uses ultrasound para mabilis ang penetration or pag-enter ng drug sa ating skin. So, next one is we have the principles of phonophoresis. Sa principles of phonophoresis, it relies on the perturbation of the tissue, causing more rapid particles movement, and thus encouraging absorption of the drug. So, yun nga, dito, piniperturbate niya or dinidisturb niya yung ating tissue sa ating skin layer na kung saan mabilis ang pag-penetrate, ang pag-distribute ng mga drug particles within our skin surface using this phonophoresis para mapabilis yung pag-enter. Then we have ultrasound. Ultrasound facilitate the passage of some drug into and through the skin. So yun nga, when we say phonophoresis kasi, it means ultrasound, no? It uses ultrasound para mapabilis yung passage ng drug. And then we have the effects are due to both absorption of the drug and to the ultrasound. Lower ultrasonic frequency appear to lead and deeper drug penetration. So ano nga ba to? Lower ultrasonic frequencies appear to lead to deeper drug penetration. So, I will use my device again, no? Para mas ma-explain ko siya. So, sabi niya, lower ultrasonic frequency. So, we have this lower frequency and then the high frequency. So, lower frequency kasi, kunwari, we have this as our skin. Sa lower frequency, mahaba yung frequency, which means mas deeper. And then sa high frequency kasi, mabilis siya, which it cannot penetrate much deeper sa ating skin layer. So, that is the principles, no, sa phonophoresis. And then the quality of drug entering the skin is proportional in general to the time and intensity of the ultrasound application. So the next one is the mechanism of action. Mechanism of action, it is how this drug elicit its therapeutic effect. Paano mag-effect yung drug? That is the mechanism of action. Ultrasound may cause intracellular diffusion from high-speed vibration of drug molecule along with vibration of cell membrane. So, si ultrasound, pwede siyang mag-cause na intracellular diffusion or within this diffusion within sa cell natin. So, yun. So, the next one is we have the cavitation effect, cause mechanical stress, temperature, elevation, or enhanced chemical reactivity causes drug transport. So, when we say cavitation effect kasi, so, kunwari, this is the molecule. And then, by the mechanism of action ng phonophoresis, it may cause cavitation effect. Magkakaroon siya ng cavitation here. So, through the use of cavitation effect, mas mapapabilis ang pag-disperse ng drug, no? And then, mas mapapabilis ang drug transport. So, yun lang basically yung cavitation effect. And then we have it delivers the drug whole molecules into tissue. It depend on the nature of drug molecule, such as analgesic, anti-inflammatory, intensity, and duty cycle of the treatment. So, yun po yung mechanism of action ni phonophoresis. And then, drug use in phonophoresis. So, we have hydrocortisone or ointment, which is 1 to 10%. The lidocaine, 4 to 5%. And then, the zinc oxide, 20%. Methyl salicylate, which is 4.8%. Or the iodine, which is 4.7%. So, yun lang po for the phonophoresis.
So, hello everyone. Our next topic will be about medical tapes. So, what is a medical tapes? Medical tape, in definition, is a tape that is designed for safe and comfortable use on the skin, often to protect or prevent injuries. So, marami tayong examples ng medical tapes. Kagaya na lamang ng cloth tape, paper tape, transparent tape, foam tape, silicone tape, 3M kind removal silicone tape, surgical tape, 3M multipore H soft cloth tape, waterproof tape, hypoallergenic tape, elastic tape, 3M Blenderm surgical tape, microform paper tape, 3M microform surgical tape, zinc oxide tape, medical tape, Mepitax silicone tape, Mefix silicone tape, Mefix dressing fixation tape, and 3M microform surgical tape. So, sa lahat ng examples na yun, meron lang tayong 4 na klase ng tape. So, ang 4 main types of medical tapes are microform tape, strapping tape, sports tape, and retention tape. So, sa 4 na yun, meron lang tayong, familiar lang siguro tayo sa microform tape since ito yung madalas nating nakikita. Lalo na, example is pag kinukuha na tayo ng dugo, at yun yung dinidikit sa cotton, ididikit nila dito sa ating katawan kung saan tayo na-injectan. So, in definition, a microform tape is a lightweight tape that is designed to secure plasters, dressings, and bandages. It's a non-stretch medical tape which make it easy to tear by hand and is most suited for frequently changed bandages without leaving a sticky residue. So, since ang microform is a lightweight at hindi siya sticky, madali lang siyang tanggalin compared sa ibang type ng tape. So, next is sports tape. So, what is a sports tape? Sport tape is is a strong, non-stretch cotton fabric that provides rigid support and can immobilize joints, support muscles, and prevent injuries. It is designed for extended wear as a long-lasting and kind-to-skin adhesive, and this tape tends to work well in humid environment and can tolerate high levels of sweat and movement. A sports tape is a strong adhesive and offers stability without stretching and is often used for taping techniques like kinesiology taping or the KT. So, ano nga ba ang kinesiology taping or ang KT? Ang KT is a therapeutic method that uses elastic adhesive like sport tape to help the body's natural healing process. So, ito ay therapy sa ating katawan na ang gamit ay tape. So, next naman ng type ng ating tape ay strapping tape. So, what is a strapping tape? A strapping tape is a tape that is similar to a sport tape, and medical strapping tape is designed to stabilize and fasten an injured joint or sprain. Strapping is designed for athletes kasi nga syempre sila yung laging nagkakaroon ng injured joint or sprain. At dahil nga madalas silang gumagalaw, ang strapping tape is powerful adhesive. So, ang next na tape na matatalakay natin is retention tape. At ang retention tape is an idle tape for fixing dressing to the skin, and it is a soft, pliable, and porous non-woven polyester fabric tape, and it conforms to all areas of the body and causes minimal trauma to the patient upon removal. Retention tape is permeable to air and water vapor. Ang retention tape, kagaya na lang ng strapping tape, is sticky and has a strong adhesive but not designed to stretch or support muscle or joint movement. It is for holding bandages or other materials securely on patient's skin. So, compare sa strapping tape, ang retention tape ay hindi nag-i-stretch or hindi niya sinusuportahan ang muscle or joint movement. So, may add ko lang dito ang Tegaderm since halos magkaparehas sila ng retention tape. Ang Tegaderm is a transparent or clear tape or film dressing that can be used to treat wounds and protect skin. It is waterproof to protect the wound from moisture, bacteria, and other contaminants. So, ang Tegaderm ay mas madalas nating nakikita compare sa retention tape. Ang Tegaderm ay yun yung parang tape pang support ng mga machine na sinasalpak sa ating katawan. Yun yung isang examples. And next, pagko-compare natin yung apat, yung Microfor, sports tape, strapping tape, and retention tape. So, in comparison, Microfor and retention tape is for medical use only or for wound care and securing dressing, while sports and strapping tape only provides support and stabilization for joint and muscle. So, kasali dito yung Tegaderm na nagpro-provide lang siya ng support sa mga machines naman na nakasalpak sa ating katawan. And then, Microfor and retention tape are non-elastic, while sports and strapping tape can be non-elastic or have limited stretch. Mas madikit din ang sports and strapping tape. kasi it is designed for withstand movement. So, ayan po ang 4 types of medical tapes, which is the microfour tape, strapping tape, sports tape, and retention tape.
So, ngayon naman, we have the new approach. So, sa new approach, meron tayong tatlo na mga TDDS, which is the transforsomes, the medicated tattoos, and crystal reservoir technology. So, first, let's talk about the transforsomes. So, dito, sabi niya, these devices penetrates skin along the skin moisture region. This leads the compound through the virtual pores between the cell in the organ without affecting their biological barrier properties. Transforsomes are vesicles with ultra deformability so that they can squeeze through channels in the stratum corneum. Liposomes and niosomes are best suited for this purpose, for the carrier of the drug. Transforsomes contain a component, bile salts, polysorbates, that destabilizes the lipid bilayers and thus leading to the deformable vesicles. Therefore, they can be easily transported through skin. Transforsome carriers can create a drug depot in the system circulating that is having a high concentration of drug. So, ganito lang, para mabilis or mas maintindihan natin, pag sinabi nating transforsomes is siya yung nag-act na vector, which is nagre-remain siya na intact pa din kahit na makapag-enter na siya ng skin. So, gaya kanina, di ba, sa sa properties na sinabi ko, properties ng physical, chemical, which is non-ionic. So, nasabi din natin doon na dapat hindi siya na-dissociate kapag nadi-dissolve sa hydrogen or the hydrogen oxide pag nadi-dissolve siya sa water. So, dito, parang ganun din siya. Like, kahit na pumunta siya na sa skin or nailagay na yung drug sa skin, hindi pa rin siya nagwawarak-warak. Intact pa rin siya kahit na pumunta na siya sa skin. So, buo pa rin siya. So, dito din, mas nai-improve yung delivery ng topical drugs or yung mga TDDS natin or the transdermal drugs kasi mas mabilis niyang napepenetrate yung ating stratum corneum. So, gaya ng sabi ko kanina, di ba? May mga gamot na mahirap ma-penetrate yung ating stratum corneum. Pero pag gumamit ka ng transforsomes is siya yung like mas mabilis na kasi nape-penetrate niya yung ating SC or the stratum corneum. And then kaya very useful siya sa pag-delivery ng drugs. Kasi yung mga iba nahihirapan, pero sa kanya, dahil nga, meron tayong epidermal barrier, di ba? So, yun yung naman isa sa mga purpose ng ating stratum corneum. Pero dahil nagkaroon tayo ng new approach, mas mapapabilis na yung pag-penetrate ng ating stratum corneum para yung drug, mas mabilis na rin makapasok sa ating blood vessels or blood streams.
So, we have here na kung saan si MedTats as a new approach, no, sa TDDS. Si MedTats is a modification of temporary tattoo which contains an active drug substance for transdermal delivery. This technique is useful in the administration of drug in those children who are not able to take traditional dosage form. So, si MedTats basically, para siyang, hindi siya permanent tattoo, para siyang temporary tattoo, na kung saan yung ink is meron siyang active pharmaceutical ingredient or active drug. And then, parang meron siyang, sa paper siya. So, yung paper na yon meron siyang film, tapos aalisin mo yung film na yon and then ilalagay siya sa ating skin. And then we use a slight lang na tubig para ma-transfer yung ink ng MedTats sa skin and then we remove the paper. So, it is a new approach, no, ng TDDS na kung saan ginagamit sa mga batang hindi makagamit ng mga traditional dosage form. So, that is the new approach po. So, the last approach na we will tackle is the crystal reservoir technology. Ano nga ba siya? One of the most successful advancement in transdermal drug delivery system, which is our crystal reservoir technology, has resulted in smaller patches with a more controlled and sustained drug release. This efficient drug delivery technology may minimize the amount of active pharmaceutical ingredients required. This efficient way of releasing a drug is based on oversaturation of adhesive polymer with medication, thus forcing a partial crystallization of the drug. The presence of both molecular solute and solid crystal forms allows for a considerably higher concentration and consistent supply of the drug in each patch. So basically, si crystal reservoir technology, isa siya sa successful advancement ng TDDS. Kasi yung drug is in crystallized form siya. So yung crystallized form na yon, siya yung stable siya. Stable siya, and then malalaman mo kaagad yung rate kung what time mauubos yung drug, kung gaano siya katagal para gagamit ka ulit ng drug. Kasi in crystallized form siya, matagal ang pag-distribute niya, slow lang siya and controlled ang crystal reservoir technology. So, yun nga, this efficient drug delivery may minimize the amount of active pharmaceutical ingredient required. So, since is slow, sustained, and controlled ang pag-release dito sa crystal reservoir technology, mas slight or mas konti ang paggamit natin ng drug na yun. Kasi, sustained siya. So, that is the crystal reservoir technology. And then, much pricier nga lang to kaysa dun sa membrane control system. Kasi ito is much advanced na, no? As it is a new approach.
So, ngayon naman, syempre kapag nag-handle tayo ng TDDS, meron din tayong mga bagay na kailangan i-consider kapag gagamitin natin yun. So, first we have here the site selected for application should be clean, dry, and hairless, but not shave. So, dito, pag nag-apply tayo ng mga patches sa kahit any various areas sa ating skin, like, pwede naman siya. Pero, meron din kasing mga common sizes or the application, may mga sizes, like, may mga application na gantong size lang yung pwedeng ilagay sa sa specific na area, something ganun. So, for example, dito, yung nitroglycerin, dapat sa chest lang siya. The estradiol is sa buttocks or sa abdomen lang. Then, the scopolamine, behind the ear, dito. And then, the nicotine, upper trunk or the upper outer arm. So, next, transdermal patch should not be applied to skin that is oily, irritated, cut, or abraded. This is to assure the intended amount and rate of transdermal drug delivery and absorption. The patch should be removed from its protective package, being careful not to tear out. So, ano ulit yung protective package? Yes, liner. So, here, meron pa. The patch should be worn for the period of time stated in the product's instructions. Following period, the patch should be removed and the fresh patch applied as directed. So, dahil nga, syempre, madikit yun yung patches natin pag tinanggal mo yung liner niya, kailangan mo siyang gamitin agad para hindi ma-infected or hindi siya maging contaminated. Ganun. So, patches generally may be left on when showering, bathing, or swimming. Should a patch premature dislodge, an attempt may be made to reapply it, or it may be replaced with a fresh patch, the latter being worn for a full-time period before it is replaced. The patient should be instructed to cleanse the hands thoroughly before and after applying the patch. Care should be taken not to rub the eyes or touch the mouth during handling the patch kasi meron siyang drug. Tama. So, now, mag-proceed tayo sa summary. Transdermal or the TDDS are devices that use the skin as a continuous site for administering drugs into a systemic circulation. So, TDDS is also known as patches. So, factors affecting percutaneous absorption, we have here the physicochemical factors at biological factors. Pag sinabing physicochemical factors, meron dito yung solubility, ionization, or the dissociation constant. Next, sa biological factors, syempre yung age, area of application, and so on. So, dito din, syempre meron din dapat, kapag may factors, dapat may mga properties din na, para magkaroon ng successful development ng TDDS, dapat kailangan din merong desirable properties, kagaya ng non-ionic, ng low molecular weight, yung kanyang the potent and low melting point. Parang hindi ko siya nasabi kanina. So, yun, ang dapat ang TDDS pala is dapat less than 200 Celsius siya. So, low yung kanyang melting point. Yan. So, next, we have the percutaneous absorption enhancers. So, meron na siyang two types, which is the chemical enhancers at physical enhancers. Pag sinabi natin chemical enhancers, it reduce diffusional resistance. Pag sinabi namin physical, is ito na yung may two types din, which is the IP, or the iontophoresis, at saka yung sonophoresis. Yan. Which is, ang ionto, or the IP, is electric field. Ginagamitan siya ng electric field. At ang sonophoresis naman is high-frequency ultrasound. So, here we also have design features of TDDS. So, meron tayong monolithic system at membrane control system. So, pag sinabi natin monolithic, ito yung nagko-contain ng drug, which is, it contains drug matrix layer. And kapag membrane control system naman, nagko-contain siya ng drug pouch. Something like that. So, next.
For the summary, we have the examples ng TDDS. So, kabilang dito si transdermal scopolamine. So, fun fact po, si scopolamine is one of the first successful transdermal drug delivery system. Na kung saan, isa siyang parang bilog na malit na patch, na kung saan nilalagay siya dito, para ma-prevent yung motion sickness, at saka yung nausea and vomiting. So, when say motion sickness kasi, it is dahil sa pagbiyahe, na kung saan may, as in, parang grabe yung pasikot-sikot, or maybe through the sea, kapag grabe yung palong ng wave, we encounter motion sickness. And then we uses this transdermal scopolamine para ma-prevent yun. And then we have nitroglycerin, the clonidine, the nicotine, and the estradiol. So that is for the examples. Then we have iontophoresis, known as transferring ions to the skin. So, kanina, we tackle na sa iontophoresis, gumagamit siya ng electric current. Na kung saan may yung mga electric current, it has ions, para mapabilis yung pag-enter ng drug sa skin. Then, phonophoresis, paggamit ng sound or ultrasound, na kung saan yun ma-enhance ang drug delivery system. Tapos, yung mga medical tape, na kung saan designed para sa safe and comfortable use on the skin and often used to protect or prevent the injuries. Then we have the new approach. Sa new approach, kabilang dito si mga transformosomes, medicated tattoos, and then yung successful advancement ng TDDS na kung saan si crystal reservoir technology. So, yun lang po guys. Yun po yung summary ng transdermal drug delivery system. I hope may natutunan po kayo sa aming diniscuss today. And sana makatulong to sa future na i-discuss natin and then sa practice natin as a future pharmacist.